Hey everyone, welcome to the second ThrowCast of
As we're now calling them.
As we are now calling them.
As of now.
Of Through the Looking Glass. A couple of things. First of all, we have a new vlog structure.
Yeah.
We reviewed last week.
and it went a bit long.
And we realised that we're going to change it up a bit.
Yeah.
So from now onwards, we're going to have a short introduction. And we're going to go straight on to...
Which was like one line today.
Which is just like one line. Let's keep it like that.
Yeah.
And we're going to go straight on to some news. So we'll talk a bit about what happened in the last week. Then we're going to talk about one special topic every week. And this week is going to be the induction process. And then what's next for the coming week. And then a little conclusion. So that's what the new vlog structure will be.
And we're aiming for 8 minutes.
Aiming for 8 minutes.
We'll see. Okay. So news. That was the first one. The second one is that we're halfway, well, 3/4 of the way through a sprint. On Saturday, we bring all those things together. Hearing some pretty cool stuff so far. There's a couple of things where we've found possibly we've misassigned tasks and that sort of thing, but we're working on it. It's getting there. So more news on that next week.
The next thing we want to talk about is the updated website. We've been going in the last week through the website to try and find areas where we can improve upon it. At the moment, when we compare it to other independent game websites, it's perhaps not as slick, but it is functional. There were areas before where it just wasn't looking as good as it needed to. It didn't have all the right information.
Still a couple of bits.
There's still a couple of bits, but it's being slowly updated, and it's much better than it was this time last week.
Yeah.
So we'll be keeping on improving that as things go on.
And finally, in the news, there was a story you might have seen if you followed our Facebook page. We had Physics Friday for the first time.
Which is great.
Yeah, which is going to continue because it's kind of awesome. Where we're just going to talk about physics a bit every week. And this week it was that there was a physics discovery where a neutrino was found to go faster than the speed of light. And this may change our game a bit. We're not quite sure. We'll see. Yeah.
What it means and the implications of it for the wider physics community are still undecided.
It does a lot. It changes a lot. Like,
if it's confirmed.
It could change a lot.
Yeah, it hasn't been confirmed yet.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But
Definitely.
Interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyways, so that's the news of this week finished. Now into the induction process. So, Paul, you want to start off with what's involved in the induction process?
I should probably quickly say why it's important. I realize we didn't put that up on our notes. But yeah, why it's important is essentially that, especially if you're in a group like ours where we've got a lot of people, but we're all part-time and we're looking to bring in new people, making sure that the process to bring a new person on board is as quick and painless as possible is really important. It's essentially lowering your hiring costs. And anyone in the business world will know the hiring costs are really huge, and that's no different in this just because our costs are our time. And there is a big time cost to get a new person in. So what's involved? Things like teaching everyone the physics. So everyone needs to know the physics behind the game. We have about a 1-hour tutorial that people need to go through. Introducing them to the company and what that means and what we're doing and why we're doing it. Adding everyone to lots of lists, lots of logins everywhere.
The administrative aspect of it is quite large.
We've got to figure out how to make that smaller. Making sure that they've played the game at some point, which is, in some ways, it should be fairly easy. It's just making sure that they know what we're doing, really. The last one is more specifically to programming, which is especially doing like some code walkthroughs with everyone, making sure that they can go through the code, and then also making sure that the first couple of tasks are fairly simple and that they are doing it alongside someone that knows what they're doing. So maybe they're handling the mouse and keyboard, but you're someone that knows what they're doing is looking on and using pair programming to your advantage in that stage.
Yeah. I just want to spend a bit of time talking about the physics introduction because I think that's probably one of the more interesting parts of our particular company sort of thing. And it was Paul who has been giving the physics lecture tutorial to begin with, but we're trying to spread it out over everyone. And similar to the pair programmer that you have in the coding, we're trying to develop that sort of aspect in terms of this introduction as well.
Yes.
Where we're trying to disseminate that information across to everyone.
And this goes into our next point, which is automation, really. And the idea that you want to automate your induction process as much as possible. And this means two things. The first one is mechanical automation, so making sure that if you can automate some process online, you do it. But more importantly, it's people automation. So it's making sure that like it's not one person always teaching people, but everyone knows how to teach that thing so that there's always someone on hand to do that induction process. So for instance, Adam, one of our programmers, did a physics lesson last Friday, and it went really well. I think he taught it better than I did, to be honest. I think the fact that he came from someone that didn't know it before he did the tutorial, or hadn't done physics, actually helped a lot in him being able to relate to other people that hadn't done it before. And so, yeah, just getting that automation, again, with the pair programming, like right now, that's me doing all that, being the other person in the pair programming, but then getting these other people to do that as well.
And I think it's very important. It goes back to the point that we made last week, where we want everyone to be a generalist in this company. Everyone should be able to help everyone else in pretty much everything. And
having that culture of helping, I suppose.
Exactly. It's a communal environment in every aspect. And I think
that's pretty much it for induction.
There's not much else that we need to say in terms of induction, apart from...
It's really important. You should do it. The other thing,
even if you don't have video game company, which is as niche and as specific as us, induction is something which helps you, and it's not just someone who walks into a company and is lost and confused. Yeah. Because that's the worst. That means you're losing out on someone's productivity.
And if you don't get that initial stage right, it's very hard to get that person, their energy back to where you want them to be. You really want to get people's energy into the right place of being happy and excited about the project and keep them there.
So I think that's it in terms of this week talking about induction. So what's next? The following week is very exciting for us.
We finish our first sprint.
We finish our first sprint, see how we went.
See what that did, see whether we did it right. Really improve our processes. I think that's going to be, like, first 2 months, I'm really looking at just getting our processes as good as we possibly can.
And building a team, trying to get our estimations right. I'm really curious to see how the user stories went, to be honest.
Programming went so far. We've done so much more than we said. Programming went one way. I think art went the other. Design's going to be interesting.
That doesn't surprise me.
I think there was some
misestimations.
No, just also not quite assigning the right tasks, misassigning of tasks, which is something we'll talk about next week.
We'll get better at that as time goes by.
Yeah, definitely. Next week we'll have Dan Kazarevic.
To come in for legals.
So
we wanted him this week. Unfortunately, he was in Melbourne, so he couldn't come in to help us out this week. But next week he'll definitely be in.
I think that's it, really.
That's right.
And we'll talk a bit about like all the crazy legal stuff that we need to deal with. But that's it for this week. Till next time, we are Throw the Looking Glass. You can find us at throwthelookingglass.com.
You can also follow us on Twitter at Throw the Glass. Throw the Glass.
Yeah. Sad Twitter doesn't have enough characters for
Throw the Looking Glass.
Yeah.
But you can find us on YouTube, obviously, if you're watching this.
Yep. The channel is Throw the Looking Glass. And
on Facebook.
As Throw the Looking Glass.
I feel as though there's a theme here.
But anyway, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all next week.
Yeah.